last question. So the question is, I'm seeing people exit in my industry. I'm not ready yet, but what should I be thinking about for the future?
Okay. You should rub your hands together because this is going to be great. So the question is, I'm seeing people exit in my industry and I'm not ready yet, but what should I be thinking? Here's what you should be thinking. You should be thinking, how does it change? How does it change the geographic landscape of your company? And it does change things. It does change things. Um, if you look at people that are being acquired, P firms, M&A firms, they're buying up companies in your market. And can anybody relate? Can you type in market in the chat bar if you saw this happening in different industries? It was a big, what we call roll up, the HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and huge. Now we're moving into they're all chewing on the roofing industry now. That's another one. There was the auto mechanic industry. Then there was the agency industry. There's always a cycle of something that they're building together and building and combining to exit bigger again. When I look at the landscape of what's happening, I look at first, there's an opportunity. And one of the greatest opportunities that happens when this happens in your market is recruiting incredible people to join your company. You know why? People don't like turbulence. They just don't. I know that. I've been through multiple exits, and they don't like turbulence. They don't like change, and they don't want a new leader to come in. They like you as a leader. You're the owner. And when a new sheriff comes in town, they're not sure they like that sheriff. Can you relate? Type in relate in the chat bar. So when you know that, when PE or they're acquiring companies, it's recruiting frenzy. It's time for you to tell everybody. Now there's always a positioning. When I was a small company, my positioning for recruiting, you know what it was? It was, you want to work for a big company and just be a number? Why would you ever want to do that? Come work here where everybody knows your name. That's a good position, right? Give me a boom in the chat bar. When I was a big company, you know what I said? You want to work for a small company? How long do you think they'll be around? Give me another boom in the chat bar. Just so you know, no matter what size you are, there is a positioning to win. There's always a strategy and always a tactic. Always a tactic. Now, the other thing to do is, and there's a strategy for this, I've been calling it the sea of yellow for a very, very long time. When they're coming in and combining things, remember what I said when we started today, you definitely don't want to be better than better. You got to be so different. And so there's a strategy when this is happening to make yourself very different. Now, some of you may have heard this before, but it's worth hearing it again. If you have a football field and you fill this football field with all yellow balls, you know, the little ball pit, like kids jump in it and stuff, and you look out there, all you would see is what? Type in the chat bar, yellow. That's all you would see. But if I took one black ball, right, Justin, and I threw the black ball in the middle and you looked out in the sea of the yellow, what would you see? You wouldn't see yellow. You'd see the black ball. And when you're competing in this very economic combination of people buying companies, you need to become the black ball. The other thing, and we'll cover this through business power training too, is most people do not know the competitive landscape. They think the competitive landscape is that company charges less or that company charges more, right? The big company says they're charging too little. The little company says they're charging too much. Both companies can feel any way they want. But when you look at the competitive landscape of it, you can make a decision, not how to compete, how to scale within that. But you have to know a lot of the dynamics that are happening. You got to know what is the reason why they're even buying all these companies. Why are they combining all of these companies together? I loved it when it was happening in my market, and it didn't happen once. I was through, well, let's see. I started my company in I think it was 1992 when I started my electrical contracting company only. So I think I've been through three cycles of, let's call it, acquisitions and acquiring. The first cycle, I didn't know any different. I was small. I'm me and my partner driving in one van and wiring houses and commercial buildings and Wendy's and TGI Fridays and stuff. We don't know any different. The second one I watched happen, I watched them acquiring it, and I noticed that they weren't bidding on the stuff we were bidding on. They had a whole totally different landscape of what they were going for. Once I looked at the landscape, that they were going for the residential market service, because in the residential service they pay you now, right? Versus commercial and retrofits I was doing, they always made me wait 90 days, 120 days. And how many of you just hate to get paid? Tell me in the chat bar, right? You just, like, no one wants to wait to get paid. You want to deliver your service and get paid, right? That's what makes the world turn. But the third time, I noticed how to play the game and how what they were looking for the landscape. So I got to be strategic and dominate that landscape. So